Clark.
And I'm Rick Entrop.
And we are coming to you from the coffee shop. It is February 16th, and we are at Pot Doughnuts on Roy. What is this?
No, a Summit.
Summit. Yeah, but Roy's right there.
Summit
and Roy.
Okay. You know, I only heard of Top Pot from somebody famous or semi-famous stole a maple bar from a Top Pot.
They stole it?
Yeah, or didn't pay for it. It was a football player from
okay.
Seattle. I don't want to say because I'll know.
He just was like, "Hey, I'll have a donut," and then just snatched it off the counter and ran screaming from the building.
Yeah, I don't know.
And yelling, "I win! I win!"
Free food for
Interceptions. I think it might have been Richard Sherman. As a matter of fact.
Really?
I think it might have been.
Well, good for him.
Yeah,
A little robbery.
Football players
Good
can't
for
afford
everyone.
donuts.
Right.
This place is
Alex
good.
was really excited about coming, right?
I've
Alex?
never even really.
Is it just because you like the donuts?
Well, I did donuts, but when I used to work in downtown, one of the guys who said the best donuts is here. So,
Yeah, I've heard that too, and today is the first time I've ever been here.
Yeah.
and it's been on like either the Food Network or the Travel Town.
Oh, really?
So,
And I must say, I got the old-fashioned glazed. 2 thumbs up. It was almost too much where, like, I should have stopped eating halfway through the donut, because now I kind of feel like, that
It was almost
Yeah,
like
like pancakes.
Yeah.
Where you can go to
Uh-huh.
real quick.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can. Where I'm just like, oh, the glaze.
It's a good thing you don't get drunk off pancakes.
I know. Sometimes, though, when you're off carbs, I gotta tell you,
yeah.
the next morning after eating some
you
carbs,
get a hangover.
I feel like someone took just like some PVC pipe and just like smacked me with it like 100 times. Because my muscles hurt. It's weird. It does bad things to your body.
Yeah.
Even though I did have a
It
donut.
drives sugar into your muscles a little bit.
Totally.
It spikes it, basically.
And I did have a donut because I've never been here, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have a donut, but otherwise I'm still not eating carbs.
Cool.
So, because really I feel like garbage.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Well, it's a coaster. You go up and then you gotta have the crash too.
Right,
So-
totally. But I figure in the morning, I'll go for a run this afternoon, and by afternoon time it'll all be burned off.
Oh man, yeah. When you're doing low carb and then you have sugars and then you exercise on
Yeah.
that sugar and
It's-
like your workout is just totally spiked.
Totally.
Yeah, well, you're loaded.
Yeah.
You're loaded.
You're loaded.
Yeah, you're carb loaded. Yeah.
It's true. Which, speaking of workouts, I went to a boxing class on Valentine's Day. Happy post-Valentine's Day, everyone.
Yeah.
And Scott was making a little fun of me on...
That was the best because when you were saying, my son and I were actually reading your post, and I was like, well, that sounds like that's very successful Valentine's Day.
My comment was, the Valentine's Day celebratory boxing class was successful.
Were there other people there?
You determine success by not being able to walk home because the muscles in your legs no longer function.
If I was a guy
There
reading
were a
that about
lot
my
of people
girlfriend just randomly posting that, I'd be like, yes, fist pump.
Yeah. She can't run away. All right, we got her now. Well, we will have our way.
I said boxing class, though, but then Scott posted privates with a question mark.
Yes.
And I said, well, it is Valentine's Day, so it was a group thing.
It was a group thing.
Not a big.
And my
so
mind
it was
was
like a set spike of the dirty joke.
Of course, group privates is an oxymoron, right?
It's true.
So-
But there were a ton of people there, and the new coach, his name is Malanga. He's Samoan, ethnically. He's from California or something. He was teaching it, and he's new this week. But I guess he used to be a coach at the gym, and then
So
he went
did you get some
away, and
strange
he came
privates
back.
then?
I did get strange privates.
Okay.
No, but he's like a pro boxer, and he does like jiu-jitsu
cool.
and all this kind of stuff, and he's like he was in some kind of car accident, and he's getting back in like fighting shape.
Yeah.
And so he started training again and like teaching classes, and he only coaches the pros, though. He doesn't coach like we little people, because his rates are like crazy too high.
Right.
Anyway, but he teaches the beginners class. And I do not think he got the message that this is supposed to be a beginner's class, because I thought I was going to die. I felt like I was having a seizure. Like at the end, my arms were just like twitching, and I was like, I could totally not barfed, and that was so bad. And I'm like, walking home, I was just like, what happened to me?
How long was it?
And now it was an hour, and it was like the most intense hour. And the weird thing was though that it was just like, I mean, like 15 minutes of, you know, skipping rope and shadow boxing, and then half hour on the bag, and then like, you know, what's left? 15 minutes. It was like 15 minutes of stuff at the end. It was like totally, but I was like,
the intensity was
my
much higher.
arms, like lifting my arms over my head, like all my lats are just messed up, and
So
like
was it
my
you
arms
were
don't straighten out quite right anymore. Like everything hurts.
were you just up in the intensity yourself though, because you've done workouts a lot, so you're not, you kind of know where your own threshold is.
I think he was just going full speed, and I was trying to keep up.
Okay.
Because the half hour on the bag, half that time I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. It's too much. And he's like, 30 more seconds of this. And I'm like, 1, 2, like
so
rest.
You can,
I was
right,
like,
right.
No, it just was like, I think he just was going full speed, and he's just like, because it's all interval stuff. It's like 30 seconds of this, 30 seconds of that, and it was just like never ending.
It just sounds like the level he was at, he brought it down quite a bit. It might have been beginner level for him.
Well, maybe, but I think it was more like, because I watch a lot of the non-beginner classes, because that's what I'm like trying to work my way up to, is just going to the regular classes. And it was more like that than it was like the beginner class. Because usually at the beginner class, it's like walking through the punch combinations and like stances, and he was just like shouting stuff, and we were.
A song just popped on and pulled me right out of the box. I just wanted to get up and just start
the most nostalgic songs out there.
Choose life.
It's like,
well, I guess my point was is that, you know, you can kind of turn on your own intensity too.
Right.
So I'm sure you could have just, you know, lagged through the workout and been fine, or is he doing different things?
I was pretty lagging.
Okay. Well, but
it
was
was
he
just
was
a really high intensity thing.
Was he like trying to motivate you too? Like, let's kick it up. You're kind of sloppy here, and, you know, kind of giving, you know,
he was
pointers
walking around, like we would be on the bag throwing punches, and he's just going bag to bag, like going, okay, do this and do that, and you know, like he wants me to.
You say Samoan too, right?
Yeah, ethnically Samoan.
We watched a group of Samoans yesterday, and they bring, well, they're just, they seem to be like, they have this
pretty intense people. Yeah. I know quite a few Islanders. They're pretty intense. It's weird though, and this may sound racist. I'm okay with it. My Tongan friends have a range, but and even like the people who are really laid back are like intensely laid back, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So they're either like really intense or really laid back, and it's like the spectrum.
It's like
which I find really interesting.
There's no center on them.
Yeah.
There's
It's pretty. No, I have a lot of Tongan friends. I have some Tongan.
And their weight range is kind of the same too. It's like they're either super fit or super fat.
Right. Totally. They're either like 85 pounds or 600 pounds.
Yeah.
There's
like,
nothing in between.
Maybe there was a weird or a really dynamic racial mix to get the Samoan.
What? I'm sorry. Say that again.
Ethnicity. There's like two different, like highly different mixes of people that I don't know how the whole races came to be or whatever. You know, when we
they came to be by boat because they're on islands.
Cultural mixing in the island regions. Yeah. But it was a good workout. But it was like, because I like the hour-long classes to me were always kind of on the edge of my ability, and this was just like 5 steps farther than the edge of my ability, and like I was like, well, now I know that I'm not ready for the regular classes.
Well, and it sounds like you just pounded you one thing into the next, so there was no like rest in between.
There was like a couple of like grab water and now we're doing this, but like it was so.
But nothing more than like a minute or so.
No, not even a minute, like 30 seconds.
Because that's max. That's crazy. I think, you know, there's...
When we, like, halfway through the thing on the bag, I just, like, squatted next to my bag and was like, I don't think I can continue to do this. Like, my arms hurt already. And, like, and he knew me because I met him.
I'm skeptical of a lot of physical trainers that just, do this and that. They don't really try to understand the people that they're trying to
Well, and it's a group class, so, you know, half of it's on me to go at my own pace, like you were saying. But, like, like he knew me too, so he kept walking over to me and being like you have more power than that. You need to like hit with power. And I was like,
did you hit him?
Should have.
How's that?
And I'm like trying harder, like to throw, because he wanted me to like throw heavier punches. But I was like,
can you tell? Were you hitting like a poundage machine that gave feedback?
You can tell. Okay. What do you mean, how can he tell? He can look at you and go, well, you're like, I mean, you can throw a little punch or you can really like wind into it.
Are you practicing with regular gloves or are you
maybe you're practicing the 1-inch punch.
The 1-inch punch, I should.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah, they're just boxing gloves.
All right.
Yeah, they're bag gloves.
Because those also, I mean, I know any kind of weight you put in your hands when you do repetition like that, it becomes, it just builds up.
Oh yeah, in my privates, a lot of times my coach has me holding like 3 or 5 pounds and shadow boxing. It's pretty good.
Yeah, same thing. Batters put weight on their back before they swing, and
There's some people they use a smaller weighted glove so they get so they can go longer workout or so they don't burn themselves out.
Totally.
Just wondering what you use.
Mm-hmm. I just use whatever the gloves are that are on the rack. I think they vary between like a 14 and a 16 ounce.
Have you thought of buying your own? Are you to that point, or do you?
I actually I get my own gloves at the place, but I don't have anything to hit at home, so to me it seems like a waste. I never picked them up because I was like, what am I gonna do with these? Like, carry them around.
I remember going to the secondhand store with my brothers when I was really young and finding the big ass gloves, and we just wail on it. We just get one glove and we just wail on each other.
That's funny. Yeah, actually, I've been to a couple thrift stores recently, and there's lots of boxing equipment out there. I think people buy it and don't know what they're doing, and then give up.
Yeah.
So
noobs.
Well, to me too. Like, if I was gonna do it at home. Like if I had a bag at home, I might use it for a minute, but like I don't think I'd use it that much.
So
yeah,
I mean, you're getting it there. I mean, if you had no gym to go to,
right? Maybe, but I don't think I would do it that much. I mean, I could shadow box if I wanted to. Like shadow boxing is like all of the exercise of it without any of the impact on your joints. Like hitting the bag is like it. I think that's why all my muscles are like too sore today is because there's too much. Yeah, because like shadow boxing, like I get worn out really easy, but you can shadow box.
Yeah, like the Taibo. Going through the motions.
That's more aerobics.
Yeah. Why do you waste your time, Peg? Just do Taibo.
I know.
That's all you gotta
do. Billy Blanks.
How did I not think of that?
But then you miss out on practice.
I know, it's true. No, I hate that stuff. And like the kickboxing class at the gym thing.
Oh yeah.
No interest in that at all. Yeah.
They do kickboxing as well?
They do. No, they do kickboxing at like gyms. Like LA Fitness will have a kickboxing class, and really it's just aerobics. But like, you do some punch combinations But I want to like hit something, and I want to train, and
I thought about taking Muay Thai.
I've heard of that.
Thai kickboxing. It's
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is that right, or is that different?
No, it's Thai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like you get your hands.
It's Thai.
Yeah, Muay Thai. And it's pretty intense.
Yeah, they do a lot of elbows.
The thought of you got to get hit. You got to spar. That's the thing about that. And I do not like getting hit. I hate it.
Yeah, I'm starting to get to the point where like my coach is like, so we have that sparring workshop, so maybe in a couple of months you can take it. It's like
he gets
like
a
once
commission, so you gotta kind of be.
No, the sparring's open. You just have to take the workshop before you can start sparring.
Oh, I see.
And so that you can learn the rules, and so that it's not just people who aren't.
No kicking in the groin.
Yeah.
You gotta wear
people like douchebag guys will come in and join the gym because they want to hit somebody.
Yeah.
And my coach is he's the gym manager, and he doesn't let people.
Yeah, it's like
get
going
in
to
the
karate
ring.
because they want to.
Right. Yeah. And so he makes people take the sparring workshop before they are allowed to do the open sparring.
Sorry.
So,
Squirrel.
What happened? Yeah, no shit. I don't even know what happened. Say words.
So this lady was about to hit the door, and dude was
about.
just like in his own little thing and didn't catch the door for her. And
okay, I didn't see anything.
Total
behind me.
Squirrel.
Self-absorbed douchebag.
You know, he was in his own. It's early in the morning now. You don't know
I
what's
think
going on.
no human has a responsibility to hold the door for another human.
No,
Right.
no, not
It
at all.
actually bugs me when I'm doing stuff and sort of near a door and a person like stops to hold the door for me and stares at me. That bothers me.
They're
Because
trying to be
I'm
nice.
half the time I'm not
What's
ready
wrong
to
with
leave.
being considerate and,
I can
and there
I
for
can
your
get my
fellow
own
man?
door. Because then they're
What's
staring at
the
you
big
going,
deal?
now you have to go through,
Well,
and it's
no.
on my timeline.
Stare
And I'm
back. They don't
like,
have to sit there and hold it for you.
that's what I'm saying. They don't have to sit there and hold it for me.
Yeah, totally not.
No.
They're doing it to me because they think that's nice.
They think it's nice. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It bothers me because then suddenly I have to go through the door on their time frame when I could just get my own door and live my life the way I want to live
Are
it.
they dudes? Maybe they're
No.
trying to get a little action.
That's really not a good. No, they're not. They're just
Okay.
people
Okay, all right.
who
all right.
hold doors and then
Yeah.
stare at you when you're like halfway down the hall behind them, and you're
Let's
just like,
go. I'm holding this
I
for
Yeah.
know,
you.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I get that person.
I have it like every
But then
like
there's
every day.
the people that you are clearly following right behind, and they'll just sneak in the door and they won't even.
Yeah, you can get your own door.
Yeah.
If there was not a person there,
Well,
you would get your own
true.
door.
Yeah, there should not be a law that you should hold doors.
I'm just
I'm
saying,
just saying
that guy
it's
had a dog.
it's a indication of
She was
character
carrying two.
that you just
Yeah,
go to the door.
yeah,
You don't
no.
even look.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's going too. All right, it's just a.
I usually give like a distance. Like if you're right behind me, I'll hold the door open for you. But if
Exactly.
you're like 10 steps behind,
Yeah, you're not
you're on
gonna.
your own.
I
Yeah.
hold the door like long enough for me to get through it, and the person behind me can.
If it's a
deal with
lady,
their own shit.
I might wait a little to hold it for, especially like the older, the longer. The older you are, the farther away you can be from the door for me to hold it for you.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I say that's their problem.
Yeah, I held the door
Sure.
open.
Yeah, well, I'm
for
not saying we need to mandate it. Shouldn't be part of Obamacare or anything.
Well, but I'm just saying, what was her
Socialized
strategy
door
going
opening.
up to a door with all that stuff in her hand?
Right.
She had no
She should've
strategy at
thought-
all.
She should have thought about
Yeah.
it first.
I'm just saying, not necessarily his fault.
No. There's no
Not
fault
having
or
an arm
blame.
going.
It's an indication of character.
I guess.
Okay.
He was on his own.
Yeah. Well, you have every right to be a douche if you want to be.
Yeah, but I'm saying it doesn't make you a douche. I'm saying the guy who holds the door when you're 20 steps back is a douche.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's at the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Especially if he's looking to get a little.
Yeah.
Why would he be looking at that? Damn it. I don't even know what you're talking about. Why would you, like, oh, I held a door, now
Hey,
we can have
it's
sex?
worked.
It makes
It's worked.
It's worked?
I'm
Let's
sure
talk
it
about the
has.
fucking Olympics.
Okay.
I want to know how you know it works.
I'm just teasing.
Is this recent?
Well, yeah, it works with my wife.
It works with your wife.
Sometimes.
I feel like
I'm
there's
feeling-
more
feeling
to
a little
that
randy.
equation than I held the door for you.
Feeling a little randy.
No,
I
hey,
need to get the door
you
for you. Okay, the Olympics.
The Olympics.
Have you guys watched any of the Olympics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you guys watch?
We watched short track last night a little
Short
bit.
track.
No, we watched the skeleton.
Well, that too.
Oh, I do like the
And
skeleton.
I guess you fell asleep for the short track, but the Russians won. How
Was
do
it
people?
speed
How can
skating
people
short
just
track?
move to Russia that are Olympians and then become part of the Russian team? And now we're skating for Russia.
If you defect, if you
That's just
change
weird.
your citizenship,
I mean, it's turning into like just like the NBA or something where there's no team. It's just like who's gonna shell out the most money to get the
Yeah, pretty
highest.
much.
yeah.
So.
I heard it's a disaster because it's just too warm in the day, and then at night it
Oh,
freezes up.
yeah, the location, yeah.
Like
It's,
the
it's,
doesn't have
it's
any
a
cold places.
subtropical
Does it?
region. It's like they got it's like really shit poor planning for them.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
they would have been better off having it more in the
I
northern
know.
regions.
And I love how they, like, all of the, like, little cultural bits they do is, like, one of them was about Siberia, and it was, like, talking about, like, you know, the vast, like, just, like, you know those little segments they do that are, like, here's more about
Sure.
Russia.
Oh, yeah.
It's all in these
Side
really, really cold places, and then you
Yeah.
go to Sochi, and it's like, well, there's a big pool of water at the bottom of this
Right.
track, so hope that goes
It's
well.
It's just north of Turkey. Yeah, it's like it's right over by
Yeah.
Turkey. It's like
Yeah.
man,
I know.
it's-
I watched
They would've-
about an
They could have had it in
hour
Florida.
True.
men's men's figure skating.
Yeah.
And saw like a couple of the world's greatest wipeouts.
Right.
Like I don't
Right.
usually watch figure skating for the wrecks,
Oh, yeah.
but one dude just flung himself into the wall. Did you see it?
Jeremy
And he's
something.
Didn't he come back and do like an awesome
Yes,
performance after
he
that? or-
did.
But like he took off like so close to the wall and just like
Wow.
like, and then he's just like laying there kind of twitching, and then he just stands up and like finishes his routine, and the rest it was like perfect. But like, what the crap with the first? It was so
Well,
crazy.
I'm sure they've fallen before, so they know kind of how to do it.
Yeah, but he was a little drama.
He was like smashed
Oh, yeah.
into the wall.
Oh, oh.
It was awesome.
I thought it was a little.
It was a little
Was it-
dramatic.
Was it like
Little-
Tron?
A little bit of an
More
NBA
phase?
flop. Is that what you're saying? Kind of like
Not
Uh-oh.
on purpose.
Squirrel.
Yeah, but little kid just like.
You just talk about flopping
eat
and
it.
the kid
Yeah.
eats it.
No, but then right before
Good thing
that,
I missed it.
there was another. I think it was a Russian guy who was supposed to be like one of the gold contenders who landed and like twinged his back, and you could just see in like warm-ups, and then he stepped down because it was like it was like a triple axel, and then he hit and just was like caca, and he was like
Yeah.
and then skated over to the side, and he's like, I'm not gonna do that.
I've heard
He
they've
was
had-
like the superstar.
Yeah,
You know,
and this was like his retiring.
They've been having
Olympics.
problems with the ice as well too, because
Yeah.
they won't stay solid enough from the skate
Right.
on. That's why they've been having the wipeouts and the bad.
You think for 50
Really?
million or 50 billion or whatever they spent, they could get
They would-
an encased or an enclosed arena that could hold the temperature. I mean,
You think?
uh,
Yeah, but they didn't even finish the
yeah, they
hotels.
spent
I heard over
51
there
billion
Yeah, I
too.
heard
on
that.
the Olympics. They spent more than all the other Olympics have
Oh
ever
my gosh.
spent combined
Did
throughout
they not
history.
read the like 1 million articles that have been written about how
How it
Olympics is bankrupt
annihilates-
cities because they do shit like that, where they're like, we'll spend
yeah.
all this money because it'll create commerce, and it creates it
Yeah.
for like a second, and then
2 weeks.
completely
And then it
goes
all
away.
goes to
Yeah.
almost,
Because like what do you call it? Salt Lake City.
yeah.
They published a whole bunch of stuff about how
Oh, yeah.
like it did nothing
Yeah.
good for Salt Lake City.
Well, no, when it was in
the one thing
Canada-
is that it
Yeah.
Park City though it helped them out because now they got a training center for the skaters, some of the skiers and skaters.
Right. Well, it helps. Like, I mean, now they have better highways and better thing, but as an economic thing,
Right,
it
that's
doesn't
true.
have a net
Right.
positive. It has it gives them an excuse to spend a whole bunch of money, which is
Which is
you know, the-
taxpayer money, really.
Yeah,
I mean, did
and-
we vote for that? No.
and like Utah is way easier to drive in now because they used to have those really horrible freeways.
Yeah.
Now they have the beautiful big giant freeways.
It's kind of like saying war brings us out of an economic
Right.
depression, which it doesn't.
no, it does for a minute.
Not
for
even really.
certain
No, because you're
companies.
just shifting resources to something else.
Yeah.
you know?
We actually had the opportunity to go up to Whistler just weeks before the 2010 Olympics.
Oh yeah.
It was, and it was already an established mountain town already. So all they had to do is put up banners and shit like that, and they built a couple things.
Put up
Yeah.
banners.
Yeah.
Get some streamers.
Really,
yeah, we're
honestly,
good.
that's all they did because I was up there. I was up there in like 2003.
That
Couple
is so
party
Canadian
favors.
of them.
Yeah, they're
just like,
Yeah.
yay, Olympics here.
Yeah.
Just write Olympics
did-
on
they
I
that.
did build
don't
that.
know on that
Yeah.
old computer paper, with they have to pull
Pull
the
the
dots
edges
on the
off.
side. Yeah.
Dot matrix printer.
yeah. Totally.
Man, we had one of those way after we were supposed to have them.
I still have a big case of that paper that
Oh,
I use
do
just for
you?
drawing, and I have
Right
to
on.
rip off the sides. Actually, we
Totally.
were making snowflakes one year and actually used it, but kept the
Oh,
side
That's
little
really
dots.
funny.
side dots. Yeah.
Well, I must say, since we don't use the tearaway paper,
Yeah.
there are a lot fewer banners.
Yeah.
I feel
You know
like
what? Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Like I used to, with any reason to make a banner, I was like, ooh, let's make a
Yeah.
banner.
Yeah.
Now it's like I haven't made a banner in years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would I make a banner?
You got that nice little
Get the tape
printer
thing.
noise.
Well, when you can just click on someone's happy birthday
I know,
Facebook
that's
page
true.
or whatever.
Yeah.
It'll click. There you go. There's my happy birthday contribution.
Banner.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
So the Olympics, or you went before?
Yeah, just a couple
Oh,
weeks,
cool.
and it was, and I had been up there years before that, like in 2003 or something like that. And the highway was just a 2-lane highway all the way up there, and it was atrocious. It was
Oh,
it was
yeah.
scary. It's like one of those highways where you go up and you kind of skirt the mountain, and you look down the cliff on this side, and now it's a beautiful 4-lane highway, and then it bypassed some of the cool towns we were in too that we went through. Yeah, so it's like, it kind of like.
It's like good, but not good.
Yeah, good. It's like almost like putting in a freeway and then blocking out Route 66. You know?
Yeah, totally.
The only thing consistent in life is change.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah. Anyway, but I just thought the wipeouts of the Olympics have been delightful. I tried to get in on my nephew changing my computer to Canadian.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
It did not work because I think there's a blocker on Comcast
I'm sure.
doesn't let you.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But he uses a different cable company, and his doesn't. But we were kind of googling
it's a language barrier.
It would. Everything else was working, but the certain websites would just not load at all.
It couldn't get the poutine to the router.
Is it Comcast and Time Warner that we're wanting to get together?
Yeah.
That is just, I mean, it's just going to be one big Disney company at the end of the day.
Except they're all going to go out of business because things like Netflix and Hulu are creating original programming that's so good.
Wait till net neutrality
Speaking of,
starts to...
I know, but so many people are against that. Really.
Yeah, people are, but corporations aren't.
But there's corporations that are against it that make shitloads of money.
Until they get bought up by people who do want it.
Yeah, I just don't. I think that the zeitgeist is going in a different direction. I think everyone hates the cable companies.
Yeah. Where's the competition to come up to take them out? There's none. So
to take out the cable companies?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Netflix and Hulu are creating original programming that's winning shitloads of awards, and it's really good.
That's
and
programming.
The
that's not access to the programming.
Yeah, you got your cable company.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
They're the ones that provide the high-speed internet. That's what they're going to be.
But there are non-cable companies that are providing internet, like phone companies, and they have these.
Right, and they're getting all bought up and consolidated.
These what do you call it? Oh my gosh, I wish I knew the name of the company. It's almost like a Avon Cosmetics but for internet.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hope. I mean, but they just.
I forget the name of it. My friend's parents are into it. No, it's like you can only buy it
MLM.
through a person. There's no stores.
Really? It's like a multi-level
I'm sure they're just
buying.
They're buying cable bandwidth from.
I have no idea.
I mean, they're not instituting their. Yeah, I don't know.
Regardless, House of Cards is awesome. Season 2's on Netflix right now.
House of Cards?
I'm thinking about jumping back on Netflix myself. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I divorced them for about 6 months. They should be up there.
I'm thinking of jumping off
Any particular
of
reason why, or?
I just gave it a break.
Okay.
Because I wasn't watching it, and I was like, I don't want to. I hate paying for stuff I don't use.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's me and Hulu right now because I've kind of watched everything I want to watch on Hulu.
How much is Hulu?
It's like $8 a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I've found that I haven't watched anything on Hulu in a week, other than Colbert Report and Daily Show, which I can get free online anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, probably cancel that soon.
Where do you get it for free?
Just on the Comedy
Yeah,
Central.
Daily
website.
Show.
Yeah, they put all their stuff on.
Yeah, they gotta get their ads, but whatever.
Yeah. But Hulu has a lot of stuff you can't get free, but I've kind of watched all the ones that I want to watch, and I'm like none of them are new stuff.
The only shows I really want to watch is Walking Dead, and I can't find it for free anywhere.
Really? I could send you some bootleg sites.
Okay. That would be awesome.
I've watched all of Walking Dead online.
Yeah. So
but
is that the?
It's the zombie
show.
show.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's really good, even though I don't know why I lost interest in it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's so stays at such an intense level.
Yeah, it is an intense show.
I can't even remember. It was the beginning of the last season. I just completely lost interest and was like, wow, I so don't care anymore. And I was like,
Yeah, it's weird when
lost interest.
Shows do that though. Like Breaking Bad did that really bad. It's like it's like they couldn't tell how long they wanted to do it, so they would. So one season's just really stretched out.
Oh,
They just the stuff they
Brian
think they're
Cranston
lingering.
said that was because of funding problems where the season with the Fly episode.
Yeah.
That season, he said that they had such small budgets for everything that they were trying to come up that episode. Yeah. They wrote because they only had one location that they could get.
Oh wow!
And he was the Vince Gilligan. I always get him and Terry Gilliam's names mixed up. he was like, well, I guess we write an episode that takes place in one location, and then he wrote the Fly episode, which is one of the better episodes.
Yeah, they did it well, but you could tell that they were doing it.
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's like the episode in every show where like it almost could exist outside of all plot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Totally. Anyway,
so speaking of Netflix, we're okay. So we still do DVDs. So we're like basically a year behind
living
in our
in
entertainment.
1998.
Yeah. Well, that too. But
no,
so
you can get way better stuff if you do the DVDs.
We finally just saw Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah.
Which, okay, so Netflix thought that I'd give it 4 stars.
Okay.
I barely gave it 1.
Thank you.
And because it's
Me
a piece
too.
of crap.
Scott loves it.
I'm sorry.
Scott thinks
No
it's the
offense.
best movie he's ever seen.
No, I don't think.
Scott got a tattoo.
Oh.
of
No.
It's a tramp stamp.
No, I can see how a guilty pleasure, like, okay, yeah, big, you know, if you're just 100% about, okay, it's a visual feast, you know, okay, so let's crop this thing down to 20 minutes, and it's, you know, big monsters fighting, and then that's all it was. Okay, maybe 3 stars, maybe.
Yeah.
But all the horrible acting in between, the characters didn't give a crap about, the plot, what? Okay, so you don't have nuclear weapons in this world? What? You know, and there's just all kinds of...
The only thing they can think to do is fight a monster with a bigger robot monster.
The reason why I bring it up is not to knock Pacific Rim, which is a little byproduct, but to knock Netflix for thinking that I thought it was going to be 4 stars.
That's
it's
because
like, what the
Netflix's
heck?
algorithms have gotten way shittier. They used to be really good at it, and now
we kind of
it's
touched
like,
on it last episode.
If it's in the category of like, I bet you liked Avengers, and I bet you liked Transformers or something, like the sci-fi, you know, that in that, you know, summer blockbuster range. Yeah. But it's a shitty summer blockbuster. Yeah. In my opinion. No offense, Scott.
No. I like it was. It was more like Fast and the Furious for me. It's like it's visual. It's all. It's the shit I grew up with. You know, it's the robots.
I liked Battleship better than Pacific Rim.
I'm trying to think if I saw Battleship.
With Liam Neeson.
I know.
I couldn't even get through Battleship.
You know, I feel like I started watching it and maybe didn't finish it.
That was one of the movies where I was hoping it would get better, and it didn't.
Right.
Battleship. But I was like, how are they going to tie the board game into it? And I was like, they did it.
Oh, did they?
In a very, very shitty way.
Oh, okay.
It was for some reason they had billions of these tsunami buoys around Hawaii, and that's how they used it.
Weird. Oh, okay, I definitely didn't see this then because I don't remember that. No, I don't.
Yeah, they could condense these movies down to 15 minutes of visual wow, put a soundtrack to it, and then just a music video.
What I think Pacific Rim went wrong. Even though I did like the who was it? Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
I did like Ron Perlman, which I like him in everything.
Yeah,
but there was
he had such horrible lines in that movie, though.
It was cheesy, but like everything that could be convoluted was way overly complicated.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, why make your made-up thing overly complicated?
Yeah, like for
instance,
instance,
is my beef with Inception. It's made up. Yeah. It is a fictional story. Right. Why create a fictional framework that is so nonsensically overly complicated when you can you're making up the rules, you can make them simpler.
Right.
And then to me, it's just like none of the characters had any teeth. Like they were all just like people, and I was like, who's that guy?
So for instance, the girl when she first gets in the robot thing, it's like she freaks out and can't handle it. But then they show no arc of her getting over anything. Now suddenly she can just do it.
Yep.
It's like, what?
And the guy was like, I was right about you. Like, well, why did you even think that? There was nothing that showed that she would have been that way.
Nope.
Yeah, everything was flat.
Nothing.
It started at a 10 and stayed at a 10, and in terms of like intensity too, it wasn't like
well, it would go from 10 down to 1 when they would talk. And
I know.
Just like what?
And they had some pretty I like the guy from Sons of Anarchy, the other guy, both of the Ron Perlmans from Sons of Anarchy, but the guy who plays Jackson.
I did kind of like the scientist guy though. The guy with all the tattoos.
Charlie Day. That's Charlie Day.
He was the one when he showed up.
And I didn't like him in the movie either. I was like, I don't like you. Or I mean, I like you less
Yeah.
now, Charlie Day.
Yeah.
You're not funny.
I
you're
did
not
kind of like that character. I did like his character though.
You did or didn't?
I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I did.
I just was happy to see someone who I thought would bring humor into it, and then he didn't, and I was like,
Yeah, added nothing to the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I agreed with, like, he's sort of kind of an intense guy anyway, so that could have read well, but he wasn't acting.
No.
You know, he was just being
I
Charlie
wonder
Day.
if Godzilla's going to be the same way.
I'm hoping
You know
not.
what, though? The preview for Godzilla looks
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
it's pretty awesome.
It makes me really excited,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
that, like,
Makes me want to go to the theater.
I heard
Uh-huh,
good things
totally.
about RoboCop too.
I
I've
have
heard that's
too,
a good
actually.
movie,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the bar wasn't set too high. I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
The first RoboCops were good for their time, but they do not hold.
No.
We watched it. My son and I watched it. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, what a flaming piece of crap.
Yeah. Well, the concept is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's.
So now that there's technology that can support the concept, maybe it'll be a cool movie. I didn't mind the new Judge Dredd.
No,
I
I
loved
didn't
that.
at all. That
I
was
thought
pretty
it was
cool.
fine.
Yeah,
And if
it
there
was a good
had been
world. It
no
was good.
original
What's
Judge
the name of
Dredd,
the actor? What's his name?
He was in Lord of the Rings as well.
I
Yeah.
can't even remember.
He's been in a lot of
Yeah.
movies.
He's the dwarf in Hobbit, right?
No,
Or no, wait. It's,
he was
No.
one of the horse people.
That's right.
In
Oh,
Lord
yes,
of the
yes,
Rings.
yes. His name is he's Éomer in Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
and his actor name is.
He's also in the Bourne Legacy.
Yeah.
One of the
right.
Bourne movies. He was one of
He's
the,
got just a weird looking face.
Yeah.
Like it's very pointy.
Yeah, but Judge Dredd, you don't need a face. It's a,
No,
you know, it's like
no,
being
no.
Batman or something.
He's got that
you know, you-
upside down.
Yeah, he does have
The
the good
upside down
mouth.
smile.
Smile.
Yeah, totally. But
scowl.
Scott, you saw Thor too, huh?
I did.
The Dark
Dark
World.
World.
is that
Yeah.
what it's
Cool.
called?
Yeah.
How's
Yeah. We
that?
went to the $2 theater, which
Nice.
is $2 is worth it.
Hey. All right, so it's
Yeah.
it's
It was
worth
good.
It's a
I
solid
like.
$2 movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
well,
You know what? I
they-
gotta say, I heard tons of horrible things about the first Thor and didn't see it because I thought it looked stupid. And then waited until after the Avengers and in the Avengers thought all the Thor stuff was stupid. Like, I just think it's stupid. And that's my initial reaction
Yeah.
to anything Thor, like, is this is such a terrible story. But then watched Thor, the first movie,
Yeah.
and thought it was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
And
all
I
right.
was like, oh, I don't hate this. This is actually a fine
Yeah,
movie.
Captain America is still my favorite of
I
all
do
of
like
them. But
even with Iron Man.
oh,
Oh my goodness, I find that hard to believe. But I like Captain America way more than the critics did because it got in the
Yeah, it
toilet
got
for
tanked.
critics.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I
I
liked it.
thought Captain America was
Yeah.
great.
Okay, so no, you're right. Iron Man's better.
Yeah.
The first one.
The
The
first.
Yeah.
third one
Yeah.
is just garbage.
Yeah, I don't mind him even though.
You know,
I just like the
that was
character.
actually an adaptation. They did a web, a comic book movie.
Oh yeah.
What it called what they call
Oh,
it?
huh.
When they were doing when they would heat up. What they call that? No, I don't remember. I'll get
When
back to it.
who heats
Heats up when they would. You seen Iron Man 3?
Yeah.
When they would take that drug and it would regenerate them.
Oh yeah.
What they call that? When they would.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can't remember what they call it,
Yeah.
but it was a comic book, like one of those comic book action ones where they animate the
Okay,
comic book,
sure.
and that was actually Extremis.
Okay.
Extremis, yeah, it was a comic book. That was
Oh, I've heard of that.
they,
Yeah.
they basically
Cool.
took the movie, which was supposed to be with the Mandarin, and then they
Mhm.
blended it with Extremis, and that's
Okay.
Weird.
the piece of shit you
That's
got
cool.
for Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
That's just-
I didn't hate it.
Okay.
I gotta
didn't hate
say.
it either, but it was not.
I thought him and the Mandarin, like Ben Kingsley, when you have the big reveal, was hilarious.
There's a follow up. There's a follow up of him on the web with him in prison.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's
I
funny.
haven't seen it yet, but I want to see it.
Yeah. But anyway, my point of all that was that I didn't hate Thor, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I hated like Loki being the bad guy in the Avengers. Every word he said, I was like, this is the stupidest character. Like everything about him, his costume, his hair,
Yeah.
his everything about him was just so
You
dumb
kinda
and
needed
corny,
Thor.
and I was like, ugh.
You kind of
Ugh.
needed Thor to fill that in, to help you bridge that gap.
Yeah,
you know,
and I
it
think the
kinda,
guy who plays Thor, even though I know ostensibly he's supposed to be very attractive, looks like just has like a light dusting of maybe a syndrome of some kind.
Oh.
There's just
Huh.
something about his face that makes me go like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't get into that.
He was-
like, I don't know. There's just
Well, he's
something
also
about
blonde,
him that looks.
My
blonde.
wife doesn't care for blonde hair. Sorry, Scott.
That's fine.
He just looks like
I'm
like.
just glad I don't have blonde hair.
No, I just can't
Yes,
be
no
into
offense.
him. His brother, on the other hand.
Huh.
He's Chris Helmsworth. His brother's Liam Helmsworth.
Yeah.
hot.
Huh.
Chris, little dusting of something wrong with him.
Yeah. I think he works for the part though. He seems like a
for sure.
badass
He was also
kind of
he was
person.
also in the first Star Trek, the first remake, the gritty reboot.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
He was
He's
in...
Captain Kirk's father.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Huh.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so...
Cool. And then the guy that played the Hulk was the evil dude.
Oh, yeah.
Not-
Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, the more comic booky Hulk, not the one
no,
with.
wait.
No, that was
No.
that was
I'm sorry, I was thinking of the
the Australian dude Eric Bana.
Yeah.
Bana,
You're right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, it's got that.
Yeah.
Eric Bana.
The three banners ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think Mark Ruffalo is by...
Speaking of banners.
I know. Mark Ruffalo is for sure the best Hulk.
Yeah, and then
He hits the nail on the head for me. But I didn't hate Eric Bana. I thought people were like, meh. But I thought the movie was like a B-. But I
Yeah.
liked him. Like, I thought he sold it.
Yeah, he sold it.
I don't know what
thought
they
he
were
was,
thinking of.
it was the
Edward
movie.
Norton.
The movie.
You didn't like it with Edward Norton?
I thought it
I
was
was like,
kind of
this is
cool.
I kind of dug Edward
It
Norton.
was a bad. It was Fight Club. I couldn't get him out of
Yeah.
Fight Club.
Yeah,
True, he was the same
that
kind of
might
character.
be, yeah. But
He's forever Fight Club.
I know it's true.
But I did like the way they CG'd the last version of the Hulk, where
Yeah.
it looked like the actor instead of something else. You know, this cartoon.
Yeah, the
version.
technology definitely caught
Yeah.
up from.
And the Hulk wasn't like super ripped and striated. He was kind of fat.
Oh yeah.
He had neck
He was also
rolls.
fat.
Yeah, he had neck rolls and stuff. Yeah.
And gigantic.
Yeah.
The sizing, I think the size ratios of him fluctuates wildly from
Yeah.
scene to scene in Avengers.
Well, yeah,
really.
you got to follow the size of his head and hands, basically. Like his hands are like 8 times the size of his head sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I never paid that much attention.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that important. But you thought Thor 2 was worth a watch?
Oh yeah, I thought so. It was entertaining. It was more Thor oriented.
Did they go back to his world quite a bit more? Because that's what I liked about
they
the
did.
first one was the world. But,
Yeah, it was actually more focused on the Nine
Okay.
Realms and
okay.
what the Dark World was about.
yeah.
And there's dark elves.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the part I think is stupid because and I use stupid in a very like pejorative sense where I just like there's nothing wrong with it. I just
It is a little derivative of, it's like they're getting into like
If you're into it,
a
it's
little
fine.
more,
Yeah.
like,
That's the thing. I think it's just for
folklore-y
my
kinda-
taste.
like fantasy things
Yeah.
rather
Yeah,
than
for sure.
heroic superhero.
Yeah.
Because you think streamline, almost sci-fi with superheroes. You
Well,
don't really
and
think,
like with Superman.
yeah.
And the more they go back to Krypton in the Superman movie, the
Oh,
stupider I
yeah.
think it is. I just go, Krypton.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, it's not
Yeah.
real. Even though none of the other thing is real
Yeah,
either.
right.
But it just, like, that meshing of worlds to me just is, like, for whatever that taste thing is that you have, it just, the switch gets flipped to, this is dumb.
I'm a little bit of a
I don't know
fanboy when
why.
it comes to comic book movies.
Yeah.
So
I
I
usually
put
am
all
too.
I put all the faults beside it. Like
Cool.
Yeah.
I let it go and I watch it for.
But then I like stuff like pure fantasy stuff. I
Oh, yeah.
I love.
Yeah.
Like,
We're Game of Thrones is coming out like
I
just
have
a
not
few
watched
more,
that at
a few
all.
more days.
Game of Thrones.
It's
I-
awesome.
Prepare
Yeah.
yourself for wanting to watch all of it at once. You don't make my mistake. Wait until it's over. Just wait for 8 years from now. You'll have like the greatest 2 weeks of your life.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm pissed that I gave in. Because I was totally holding out. I was like, I know I'll like this.
Yeah.
I'm waiting
Yeah.
That's
until there
why
are
Yeah.
I did the same thing with
a
Breaking
million
Bad.
seasons.
Oh yeah.
and
Well,
I couldn't
we started
hold out
Breaking
long
Bad
enough.
from the almost like
Yeah,
the
I
first
did
season,
too.
I think, but didn't we? Or
Yeah.
yeah, all right.
Totally.
It just, guys,
You need
I
to
heard a
mess
little
up
bit about the
dreams.
plot, and I'm like, wow,
You
that's
watch
pretty
it
cool.
over and over again.
School teacher that goes off the deep end.
Uh-huh.
Right on.
Yeah, I know. I think I for sure saw it from the beginning because I remember
Yeah.
waiting for the second or third episode. and
I'm
being
glad they
like,
finally
"Eh."
just ended it too, because if it's gotta. I mean, it's one of those that just has to end.
Yeah, you can't take it along too long.
It would definitely. They needed to end it, otherwise it would just burn out.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Or it would just become something else, which
Yeah.
you don't want either.
It's
so.
true.
Breaking kind of bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Sort of bad. Well, and that's the beef I have with a lot of shows which Breaking Bad is the exception, which is that whatever is the obstacle, usually each season, like for Weeds and for Breaking Bad, they have their own, or like Sons of Anarchy, or like, I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, like, you guys haven't seen Prison Break, have you? Yeah. Well, it's like, that season has like Gus. Gus is one of the bad guys, or U-Turn in Weeds is one of the bad guys.
I'm not real familiar with Weeds either.
Really? You need to watch Weeds.
Okay.
Anyway, there's like a person who's like the antagonist for that series of obstacles, and in a lot of shows, like you'll get to one that's like so impossible to overcome, and it's like a 10 in terms of like difficulty, and then the next season you can't meet that.
Right.
And
24 had that.
Yes, 24 totally has it.
Yeah.
Where then you like, they're trying to get the audience to feel the same way about something that's fundamentally not. And if that character had already defeated that other one, they'd just be like, dude, this is not that.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that.
24
and that was
should have been
way
about
harder.
2 seasons.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
Yeah. But I think that because you follow Walt through like growing and getting more and more high up in that world, then naturally his bad guys got more and more terrifying to defeat. And so, it worked. But if he had gone on too long, I mean, who are you going to beat other than Hank? Like, who is more daunting than your brother-in-law DEA agent? Nobody. Like, there is nobody.
Yeah, they'd have to introduce new characters, which makes it a different show.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But I saw a couple of movies this week. I've been trying to finish up the Oscar nominations, which there's 4 of the 5 documentaries that are nominated for Best Documentary are on Netflix. I watched like 2.5 of them. I watched like the first 10 minutes of each of them. Okay. And then went back and watched, because they're not
first
so
10 and last 10.
great. Well, I think they're all about, one of them's about artists that I wanted to watch, but it's subtitled and I was doing some other things, and so I was like, I'll wait until I can just watch.
I can't watch subtitle movies.
I have to be in a certain mood, because a lot of times I'll be knitting or something while I'm watching the documentary, and you can't do both at the same time. But a lot of them, they're a lot of war, like just a ton of war stuff, which is really good, but like they're just not as
sort of things, or?
Like the best one of the 2 that I watched in completion is Dirty Wars, which Scott and I were talking about a little bit, which I don't want to get into that much because it'll start pissing me off, but it's about a lot of the stuff that's been in the news the last couple of years about the United States using covert groups of people to assassinate people in countries we're not at war with, and American citizens.
Yeah,
and
the jackals.
Basically doing like what I consider to be war crimes, and it's just like putting it all in one thing. Like by the end, I wanted to like throw my TV through the window. It was really upsetting.
Emotionally taxing.
Really, and it makes you feel complicit because it's like nobody's really doing anything, and then it's just like,
let's go vote.
We're so screwed. I know. Anyway, so that one was really upsetting. But I watched, and then the other one I watched was the Act of Killing, which is these Indonesian warlords who basically like committed genocide. A documentary crew gives them the opportunity to recreate some of their kills and make little plays out of them and shoot it and like put them on film, and it's people who killed a lot of people talking about killing. And it's really I didn't make it all the way through because it doesn't have a great drive, because you see it's more just like a bummer, and it's just these people who are like, yeah, we wanted to be Marlon Brando, and so here's how I killed this guy, and here's how I killed this guy. And they're talking about it like it's no big deal because they now are in power and feel like they rid their country of communists. Which some were communists, some were just people they wanted to get rid of who didn't agree with them politically. But so they have been successful in their minds. And so they talk about this genocide as though it's no big deal. And so it was really kind of a bummer.
If God tells you to do it, is it really genocide?
Right, I know. That's the thing. So, but anyway, so stuff like that's like more current war stuff, but it's like really sad, really bummery. So, but the ones
I'm drained just hearing about it.
I know. Well, I don't mind that so much, but it's a lot of years there's documentaries that are great to watch, and this year it's kind of like a little hard to get through.
Yeah.
But I also saw 2 more of the Best Picture nominations. I saw Wolf of Wall Street, and I saw Dallas Buyers Club.
Okay, and Wolf of Wall Street, how do you like it?
Wolf of Wall Street is Martin Scorsese. It's Jonah Hill and Leonardo DiCaprio.
The 500 F-bombs.
The 500 F-bombs. Yeah. I gotta say, I'm glad I saw it. It is exactly like every other Martin Scorsese movie to me, which is an hour and a half too long.
Yeah.
That like it's like an almost 3-hour movie that felt like 6. It's because like the plot is okay, but it's not really plot driven. It's more just like watching these guys do stuff, and there's so much drugs in it. Like they smoke crack in one scene, and they're shooting heroin, and they're doing a lot of cocaine.
Is this supposed to be based on a real guy, though?
Yeah, it is. He wrote a book about it.
Okay.
But it's so just
is
like...
Is it sensationalized in any way? Or?
I think it absolutely has to be. I mean, it's like doing cocaine off of hookers and in their boardroom, and like at a certain point, it's funny. Like it's really humorous that they're doing just like horrible things, and like they think they're so great. But like at a certain point, I just was like, yeah, I get the point. Like, where are we going with this? I've been here for 2.5 hours, kind of over it. Like, it's just so much of the same. Like, he's a crazy drug doing like narcissist at the beginning, and just remains that the whole movie.
No,
but they show him become it a little bit for just like a hot second. Yeah. But it's one of those like his like Goodfellas, which I feel the same way about. Even though Goodfellas I think is a way better movie than Wolf of Wall Street, that there are scenes in Goodfellas where it's like that scene is the best scene of any movie, but like as a whole it kind of just goes like wandering around.
Kind of like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, totally. No, it's very similar actually, because there's scenes in Napoleon Dynamite that's like
yeah, totally. Yeah.
But as like it's almost just like putting things together.
Could you do a drinking game with the F-bomb factor,
sure.
and then just obliterated?
You could do a drinking game with the snorting cocaine. Yeah. Like every time someone snorts coke, you drink, and you would be dead.
They should do a. Sorry to.
No, go ahead.
Retrace my steps here, but they should do a drinking game with Pacific Rim, but have Jaeger, because they would say Jaeger because they call them the Jaegers.
That's right.
It's like
I forgot that.
You gotta have like a shot of Jaeger to.
I'm out.
I'm out. But I must say, Dallas Buyers Club. 100% stands up to the hype. I don't know if you guys have heard the hype.
That's Christian Bale, yeah?
No, it's Matthew McConaughey who lost all the weight, and Jared Leto, who plays like a trans person, kind of trans, more drag queeny than trans, but who weirdly enough in makeup, like wearing women's clothes and in makeup, looks remarkably like Chloe Sevigny. Like really, really close.
Who's Chloe Sevigny?
Chloe Sevigny. She's blonde. She's an actress. She was in Big Love. She's in.
That narrows it. Sorry, I'm just teasing.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just teasing.
Wasn't she on The Walls Could Talk, like an HBO show?
I never saw that. She's a very well-known actress. If you don't know who she is, you don't know who she is.
Guess we'll just have to Google it later.
So she, like, Jared Leto would be at like certain angles. It could have been Chloe Sevigny, like 100%. Jennifer Garner's in it.
Okay.
It is so worth watching because it's about people in Texas. Matthew McConaughey plays a rodeo guy who gets HIV. It's in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
And he was
homophobic
at first. Yeah.
Super homophobic, almost dead. Like doesn't find out he has AIDS until it is full blown AIDS, and they are like, you have a month to live. And he basically goes on a screw the medical system, I'm going to find a way to get the drugs from wherever I can, and then creates this like ring of people join the buyers club, and he like illegally imports drugs from all these different places and kind of helps create what it was, the triple cocktail in the 90s, and extends his life, and it's kind of about him just like like learning about HIV, but like the acting is so good, and like he's amazing.
So is it based on a true story?
Yeah, it is. Cool. Totally.
I just heard something about
it's so good. I highly recommend it.
THC has an effect on the HIV virus. Actually,
does
it doesn't kill it. It renders it inert.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's cool. We're going to see the end of HIV in our generation. For sure. Like, if you read some of the things that have come out recently, there's stuff where they're curing it and
nice.
they're getting really close to a true cure because now
They'll
it's
never
a chronic.
cure anything. I'm convinced.
Yeah, I know.
They'll treat it. They'll treat it until the day you die.
But right now it's a chronic thing, and they're coming out with things that are showing like there's 2 people who they've documented of they are no longer HIV positive, which to me
was
is
it
like
Magic
amazing.
Johnson?
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is.
He is the longest living
Yeah,
celebrity.
it's like, all right.
I know, totally.
Anyway,
It's that
so-
South Park episode where he's injecting cash.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? That's how he cures his AIDS.
Right.
Just
Money.
injects money into himself.
That's funny.
Anyway, but I highly recommend Dallas
Cool.
Buyers Club. I say Wolf of Wall Street only if you're a hardcore Martin Scorsese fan.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are talking American Hustle versus Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
American Hustle has it by a million
Who
miles
did American
to me.
Hustle?
David O. Russell.
Okay.
He's the guy who did I Heart Huckabees.
Okay,
he
right,
did.
right.
He's one of my favorite directors.
Awesome.
He did Silver Linings
So that's-
Playbook.
Okay.
That movie is funnier, sharper, better plot, better acting.
American Hustle. That's the one with Christian Bale.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So funny and really great and a cool story. Wolf of Wall Street, less funny, less great, less cool, longer. To me, American Hustle has it by a million miles.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
and also,
I look forward to seeing it next year when it comes out on Netflix.
I know. No, and people like Martin Scorsese has some really good female characters, but like just not great.
Yeah.
And American Hustle is like all about the women to me. Like Amy Adams just like kills that movie. She's so good in it.
So
And Jennifer Lawrence is great. But Amy Adams alone, that movie.
It's more like Wolf
So
of Wall
good.
Street's like a B movie, like a B minus or.
Yeah. Even just Martin Scorsese's movies, it's not even one of his better movies. Like I think The Departed is 1 billion times better.
Well, The
Oh,
Departed
I love that
is
movie.
that's just a great movie.
It's brilliant. Not a second too long.
Yeah.
And it's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
I know.
How do you do that to somebody where you're like rooting for it the whole freaking 3 hours?
Man, I went up with when the twist that movie takes
Oh my
too.
gosh.
The Departed.
Well, okay, so Lord of the Rings were kind of on. Were they 3 hours?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so there are a few out there
Yeah.
that do it.
And I don't even mind like watching them end to end.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
no,
even
the
lose
extended
interest.
versions.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
What's up?
Yep.
So Rick, you had a quote you wanted to
Oh,
share
sure,
with us
yeah.
about
Okay,
income
so
inequality.
yeah, they were. They were talking to this really rich dude who was talking about how there's the income disparity between the rich and the poor, and he was saying he's like this billionaire dude, whatever. He's like, if I have $1 million to spend, I should get 1 million votes, and if the person only has like $1 to spend, they should only get 1 vote.
I've heard
And I
this
was like,
also.
That's crap. It should be the reverse of that. It should be if you're a billionaire, you get 1 vote, and if you're poor, you should get 1 million votes. So we should flip it on its end to where the poorest among us should have the most say.
It's the
I
same guy
agree.
that was basically he was quoting what's his name, Thomas Jefferson, when the vote should be by property owning.
Oh really?
Oh, I don't
Property.
think
See,
Jefferson
I
was
think-
that way.
That was a Tom.
I don't know.
You could be
I'm
right.
It
I
was one
just
of the founding
didn't sound-
fathers. It was one of the founding.
Well, I know that. Yeah. Well, the founding fathers. There's Jefferson. There's Adams, and then there's Madison. They all had way different views
Yeah,
on
for
what
sure.
It was the
how
votes
things
were
should
to be
go.
by property owning.
Yeah. Well, I
Right.
think
Taxpayers.
But
like
they
taxpayers.
put in the Constitution though originally it wasn't life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. It was life, liberty, and land.
yeah,
that we
totally.
were all
Right.
Totally
what's that?
entitled to.
Entitled, but there's a different word for it.
I have no idea. But that,
yeah.
I mean, that sentiment is straight down the line of Citizens United.
Oh yeah,
Of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like
I am
speech
so,
is money, and
yeah,
if you
but that's
have,
crap.
and it, to
That's
me,
why they had the
it's-
big land grab though that they had to get votes. That's
Right,
where they,
right. Oh, yeah,
they
for sure.
basically homesteaded the whole
Destiny? No,
West.
never mind.
Yeah, Manifest
Yeah.
Destiny to spread from the East
yeah,
Coast to the
right,
West
right,
Coast.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's the like, I don't know. I just to me
Yeah,
it's equating
but if we
like
were-
money with value.
Right, which we
And-
should, and money has a function in our
Well,
society.
I mean,
but
value
what I'm
has
saying
in
is,
terms of your individual value, and I don't think that has any. I mean,
right, but it should be flipped.
Yeah.
It's like if you're getting screwed the most, you should have the most say on how it changes. If we're
Yeah.
really truly a government
if we
vying for the
want
people,
things equal,
then
like, to be equal, yeah.
It's like, okay, go ahead and have your money, but you're not going to have much say in how it goes. I mean,
Right.
there's a good check and balance there, I think.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The election
But-
system we have now is pretty broken.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
totally.
It's even though we feel like we have a say in what, or we do vote, we do get to cast our votes, but the money's still spent on the lobbyists. It's
Oh yeah,
still
we
spent
don't.
on the corporations.
It's
still
taken from.
There's a couple of really good documentaries that are, I mean, they don't present like new ideas. I think I actually watched them on Hulu. I'm trying to think of the names of them that are about the electoral system and about.
Well, I think it's
lobbying.
a hoax anyway. I mean, it's the same reason why I don't go with anything digital is going to be messed with.
Yeah.
You know, my idea for voting.
You've told me this, but
okay.
podcast.
Have I told our listeners?
No, I don't think so.
How voting can be fixed? All right. So you go to the place to vote, and you get a ping pong ball, and you put it in this big plexiglass thing of the person that you want to vote for.
Oh.
So there's a big visual representation of what's happening, where the votes are going. You've seen where your vote has gone. There's none of this secrecy.
Do you
none of
think
this.
though that would you cover up how many other votes are in it? Do you think people would be swayed by knowing consensus before they cast their vote? And would it have an effect?
Yeah, like you're getting a popper.
Like
true.
if you could
I don't
see,
know.
if it was glass,
I
you
guess
could
my
see,
point-
oh well, my guy's losing anyway. Why bother? Which is a lot of people who want election reform.
You can vote however you want.
Yeah.
That's you're right.
But a lot of people want like news outlets to not report any of the findings until after all polls are closed because it influences
Right, when they
voter
do
turnout right at the end.
Exit polling.
And a lot
yeah.
of times it changes outcomes based on people don't even bother to go vote for the thing who's that close because they're reporting 10% of districts.
Then that just means that you don't care that much.
Yeah.
I mean, why try to? I mean, well, and
It's just
also
a more subtle
if
form
the
of
poorer
voter
you
manipulation.
were, the higher your vote counted. You'd probably go vote more if you were poor.
Maybe.
You know, so
Yeah.
you'd get a lot better voter turnout and a lot of better representation. Just like the rich would go and vote and the poor would go and vote because there's more incentive to get things. I mean, I think poor people don't vote because of just that thing. It's like, well, voting doesn't do anything to change anything, so why do it?
They get what they call disenchanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of like the truly poor people don't have the luxury of like things aren't just like, oh, I can just go pop over and like that's why I love in Washington the mail voting, even though that I'm sure they have a
There's
mechanism.
female voting too now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The voting by mail like posts.
I'm just-
I know. No, that's funny though.
Yeah.
The truly poor people, I'm sure they have a way where homeless people can vote, right? I don't know what it is in Washington.
I don't know.
But if they've disenfranchised all homeless people, then screw
I
Washington.
mean, they've
because
disenfranchised people that have just gone to jail in their life. It's like
Oh,
if
yeah.
you've ever gone to jail, you
Yeah,
can't
you're
vote.
screwed,
I know,
totally.
and that I think we should get rid of that too.
Yeah.
I think if you're in jail, you should still be allowed to vote.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, why is that?
Why not?
You're already getting screwed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and if anything, you have more time to figure out who's going
Right.
to be, helping us or hurting us. So
Yeah.
Totally. Like, what's
Anyway.
the fear there that they're going to elect
it's
people
just
in jail?
more,
And
they think
like,
that it's just another
nonsense.
punishment.
Yeah.
What their argument would
Right.
be is well, then there's more incentive for you not to commit crimes, is there? You know,
Yeah,
and
like
it's just
anybody
kind of
who's going to jail cares. Like,
Yeah.
no, like that's a
Well,
big. Ooh, I can't commit this crime because I won't
Yeah.
be able to
I'm sure
vote.
if they were like hacking hands off for people stealing and some real true incentives,
Right.
but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's definitely to me broken, but I
Yeah,
think I think we have a system of if you have $100, you get 100 votes, not overtly in physical voting, but in power and ability
But
to
that's
control the
that's
system.
what's corrupting
Right.
our way of life, really, because it's the mixture of democracy and capitalism, which the two just can't. We like we separated religion and
Right.
Church and state.
Church and state. We need to separate economy and state as well.
It's true. And I think even though I keep saying I don't want to talk about dirty wars, but it did send me into like a day long, like I want to build a bunker in Canada and go hide in it because our country is the worst ever.
Canada, that's just the 51st state, really.
I know.
mean,
But at least in Canada they have a lot of big wide open land. Is what I
True.
was thinking,
Okay.
Where I could go.
you got a point.
Where I could go like out in Homestead in the middle of Canada.
Nice. Okay.
But even though I keep saying I don't want to talk about it, but I really do. I think we just need there's so much lack of transparency and the things that do become transparent nobody seems to care about.
Yeah,
or
like
that to me
the
I'm
corporate
just like
welfare. That's right in our face.
Oh
We're
my
just
gosh,
giving money
totally.
to corporations that are already raking in billions and billions of dollars.
But it's the welfare queens. Those are the
It-
real drains on the
Oh,
society.
hell no.
They're cashing
They're
those
drops in the
$200
bucket
checks.
compared to what? Yeah,
I know, that's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
And stuff like, I mean,
do.
the whole Edward Snowden thing, who I think is an American hero.
Oh yeah, big time.
But like looking at that stuff and just going like, I wonder what else is on TV, and like nobody cares,
Right,
and it's like,
yeah.
like people are
Well, it's
still.
the head in the sand thing. If I don't look at it, it doesn't
Totally.
exist.
And I think it's too
Right.
big. Like I even felt that watching the documentary where I was like, what do I do?
Oh,
like
yeah.
there's nothing you can
There's
do
a
about it, and it's so depressing.
Well, I don't know. There's a few documentaries you could probably watch, but the one about McNamara, the War Machine, or it's something.
Oh, I've almost
It's
watched.
about Nate McNamara.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
the main dude in it, but
Uh-huh.
it's
I've almost
really
watched it a
interesting.
bunch
It's about
of
the
times.
military-industrial complex.
Is it gonna bum me out?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
All
give it a
those
week
things-
because
Yeah.
I'm still bummed
But it's a
about.
little more historical, a little
Oh,
more,
okay.
not
It
the
doesn't.
current
It's
crap
not like
we're
6
in.
months
It's-
ago.
Yeah, no.
Because this movie or this thing is like, remember on the news 4 months ago?
Yeah.
This is what that
Yeah,
meant,
the
and you're
Libya
just like,
and the fact that we just
You ever watch that?
started going and doing
going to
stuff.
Yemen. Like,
You ever
yeah,
watch-
we're not at war in
Yeah.
Yemen, but we're sending our covert ops into
You ever
Yemen.
watch the Adventures of Baron Munchausen?
Yes,
yeah.
I love that
Classic.
movie.
Where there's a scene in there where the bureaucrat is sitting down with the warlord, and they're saying, "Well, you won last time,
Right.
Yes.
and
Oh,
now it's
yeah.
our turn. And I know you're
Yeah.
bombing the shit out of us, but you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
we'll give you this much money, and the next time you give us this much money."
Totally.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Did you know Napoleon was average height
I didn't
for
know
his?
that.
Yeah, whatever his height was about an average height for the
For
countrymen.
the time?
Yeah,
Weird.
for the
So
time.
how come there's all this? Is that just like negative
Who knows?
propaganda? on
Yeah, I don't know where I
Napoleon?
heard it. It's just one of
Interesting.
those, misconceptions.
Huh. That's
Anyway,
so
sorry.
strange.
Sorry to digress. Huh?
Short.
It's like people in France were probably pretty short. I mean, French
Yeah.
guys aren't super tall
Yeah.
now, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
You go back to
No.
you look at the French architecture too. It's like
Abnormally.
doors are really small and everything's narrow, and they're not
Freaking
really big.
hobbits over there.
Freaking All right, well, we're
Midgets.
about out of time.
Cool. Did we
so
cover all our
we covered almost
points of
everything.
interest?
Scott wanted to talk
Cool.
about a 3-day weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm on a 3-day
Get
weekend.
Monday off. Yahoo!
Whatever.
This is like Saturday part 2 for me
Nice.
right
I
now.
know.
Oh,
Now you
yeah.
get a taste of what I get every week.
I'm excited.
Bigger whatever.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, even when you have a 3-day weekend, once you get used to it, it's the same. Like that's the thing. Whether you have an hour break or 10-hour break, if it's the same every time, I think you just adjust.
We're adapted.
But when you give it
Even
back,
though-
that's gonna
creatures
suck.
of
Tuesday
adaptation.
morning, yes, it will suck when I go back to a
Yeah.
5-day work week eventually. But Tuesday mornings, I
That
do
could
wake up and go, yeah, one more day. You know,
Nice.
Alex
I
is
wish,
glaring
man.
at me.
What I do is just one day too many.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But
I
gotta. Luckily, I only have to be to work at 3 tomorrow morning, so
Wow.
instead of midnight.
You get to sleep in.
Yeah.
3 a.m. All
I have to be
right.
there at 3. Not.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
thanks for listening. Thanks for
Yeah.
all of our new likes on
Thanks
Facebook.
for talking.
Yeah. How's the
Toe to tot toot.
Poop
Toot
top
pope.
pop.
Po-po-to-po.
Yeah, Keegan thought it was because of the new laws. It's like you got weed
Oh,
places now.
We're right
You know,
around
actually,
there.
there's. Well, I guess we can probably talk about that next. But I think it's going to be all up to the banks. Are the banks going to be able to process the money? Yep. Okay, pot's going to be available. If
Yeah.
not, then nope.
They
Sorry,
just,
guys.
the
That's
Fed
probably
just
true.
released new rules so banks can loan.
Did they make a ruling on it?
There's
okay.
rules coming, yeah. And Easter is on 420 this year.
Ah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Hey, nice, nice.
All
cool.
right. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for listening, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.